Welcome to a world where thoughts take root and emotions bloom. This is Soft Light Theory, a sanctuary of stories, reflections, and quiet awakenings. I'm your host, and I invite you to pause, breathe, and explore the forest within, because here, even silence has something to say. Chapter 1. The Forest in Your Head. Inside your skull, a forest of neurons hums gently, growing, shifting, reaching. Each thought is a breeze, each emotion a rainstorm. You are not made of stone, you are sculpted by your moments. And this forest, it listens. Close your eyes now and let your breath slow. Let the weight of the day soften across your shoulders. Within you, beneath bone and blood and quiet memory, there is a forest. It does not grow with leaves or bark or roots, but with pulses, patterns, and the tiniest sparks of light. This is your brain, a living, breathing terrain of billions of neurons, each one reaching out like branches in spring. They do not sit still. Even now, as you lie still and quiet, they move. They stretch toward each other, building bridges, connections that let you feel, remember, wonder. This is neuroplasticity, though you don't need to remember the word. Just remember the feeling, that nothing in you is truly fixed, that your brain is not a stone castle, it's a forest alive with change. Imagine walking through this forest. At first, it feels dense. The trees are tall, the air still. But as you step slowly, something shifts. You notice paths, some familiar, some faint. These paths are your thoughts, your habits, your memories. Some are smooth and easy to walk. Others are tangled or overgrown, marked by fear or pain. Yet the most important thing is this. Every step you take leaves a mark. Your brain reshapes itself by how you use it. When you repeat a thought, whether it's a hope or a worry, you walk the same trail again. The soil packs down, the trees lean in. That path becomes easier to find. And when you ignore a path long enough, when you stop walking it, the forest gently lets it go. The trail grows dimmer. The branches reclaim the space. Your neurons, those tiny, miraculous cells, are not fixed lines. They are explorers. They reach toward each other when you learn a new word, taste a new flavor, or speak a truth aloud. They light up when you notice beauty, when you try again after falling, when you decide to forgive. They are shaped by experience, but more importantly, they are reshaped by experience too. Even trauma, the hardest storms that pass through your forest, does not destroy this truth. It might break branches, might carve deep ruts into the earth, but over time, new growth appears. The brain finds ways to adapt, to reroute, sometimes slowly, sometimes almost invisibly, but always with the possibility of healing. Let yourself picture one of these neurons. It's so small, smaller than the width of a hair, yet it holds the power to spark memory, to create thought. It has a long arm, an axon that sends signals, and many branching arms, dendrites, that receive them. Each time a signal passes from one neuron to the next, it strengthens the connection. A synapse, a bridge, a promise that something once felt can be remembered. When you were a child, your brain was overflowing with these connections, a garden in wild bloom. By age 3, you had more synapses than at any other time in your life. The forest was crowded with potential. As you grew, some of those paths were pruned, not erased in cruelty, but cleared, like a gardener shaping space. The brain keeps what you use. It lets go of what you no longer need. This is the gift of neuroplasticity, a brain that refines itself through living. And still, even now, your brain grows. You are not finished. Even tonight, as you listen and breathe, tiny changes are being made. A new idea opens a doorway. A calming moment lays a seed. Repetition, practice, rest. These are the waters that help it grow. Think now of how a forest responds to change. A fire may come, a season may shift, a tree may fall, and yet life finds a way to return. New shoots rise, roots deepen. This is not forced, it is not fast, it is not perfect, but it is real. Your forest is the same. It does not need to be rushed. Healing, unlearning, learning again, these things happen in the rhythm of wind through trees, in the space between heartbeats, in the quiet you give yourself. Like this. There are parts of your brain that handle feeling and parts that handle thought. There are bridges between them. These bridges are strong, but they are also sensitive. They can be weakened by fear or strengthened by understanding. When you feel safe, truly safe, your brain listens better. It opens. It trusts the path ahead. That's why rest matters, why gentleness helps. Tonight, know this. You are not broken, you are becoming. Your forest is alive. Each night that you pause, each breath you draw with care, sends signals through the trees. Tells the neurons, this matters, this is safe, this can stay. As you lie there, feel your breath like a soft breeze through branches. Feel your heartbeat as the slow drum of footsteps on moss. You are here. Your brain is listening. And even the parts of you that have been wounded are still able to grow. In the chapters ahead, we'll listen to those wounds, not to relive them, but to understand their shape, to trace the paths they carved, and ask gently if other paths are possible. The forest always allows new growth, even in places once scorched by fire. And so you breathe and rest and drift slowly through the trees. Somewhere deeper in the forest, a quiet voice begins to whisper. It carries a memory not in words but in feeling, a wound that has waited patiently, hoping to be heard, a soft echo that draws you toward the next chapter, where the wounds begin to whisper. Chapter 2. Wounds that Whisper. Trauma is not loud. It is a soft echo that hides in the quiet corners. Your body remembers even what your words cannot explain. Tonight, we will listen with kindness to those old whispers and begin to learn their language. You lie still, eyes closed, breath slow. The forest in your mind quiets. But not completely. Somewhere beneath the canopy of your thoughts, a sound lingers. It is not sharp, not sudden. It is a murmur, like wind in distant branches, a whisper you've heard before, but maybe never fully understood. This is where the wounds live, not in the open, but in the soft shadows. Trauma is often imagined as a thunderclap, a single event that splits the sky, and sometimes it is. But more often, it is a drizzle that never stops, a chill in the bones, a pattern that repeats and repeats until it becomes the background hum of your body. It doesn't always leave scars you can see, but your brain remembers, even when you try not to. Tonight, we do not fight that memory. We do not try to fix it. We simply sit beside it and listen. You may not remember the exact moment when something hurt you, or maybe you remember too much. Either way, your nervous system, the deep river beneath your thoughts, remembers for you. It stores the feeling, not the story. The quickened heart, the breath held tight, the shrinking back, or the numbing out. The signals etched into the forest. These responses were never wrong. They were protections. Even now, your body's reflexes are not betrayals. They are the mind's way of saying, I once survived. And that matters. But survival and peace are not the same. When you were young, your brain was forming the most basic maps of safety. Who holds you, who listens, what silence means. It's not about blame. It's about wiring, because the brain, especially in early years, shapes itself to match the world it lives in. If fear was frequent, the fear circuits grew strong. If calm was rare, the calm pathways stayed small. Like footpaths in a garden, they reflect the footsteps that walked them most. And here is where neuroplasticity becomes your companion again. Because no matter how those paths began, they are not final. They are changeable. Even now, decades later, even after the memories have gone quiet, your brain can learn that it is no longer in danger, that it is allowed to rest. But first, it must hear the whisper. Picture it. A clearing deep in the forest, a place where no one walks. The grass has grown long, the air is still. In this place lives a memory, not in words, but in sensation. A moment your body locked away, like a seed buried deep. Perhaps it's sadness, or tension, or a silence that once felt cold. It doesn't need to be dramatic. Even small, repeated hurts shape us. Now imagine sitting in that clearing. You don't try to uproot the memory, you don't ask it to explain itself, you just sit with it, like sitting beside a small animal in the woods, one that is shy, alert, unsure. If you move too fast, it flees. But if you are still and quiet, it might stay. It might even come closer. This is how we approach trauma in the brain, not with force, but with softness. Not to relive it, but to make space for it, to say, I see you, you make sense, but you are not all of me. You are not only what happened to you are also what you became after. Sometimes the wound speaks in anxiety, sometimes in sadness, sometimes in silence, and sometimes it speaks in the habits you don't understand. Why certain words tighten your chest, why some rooms make you small, why a kind touch feels too much. These are not flaws. They are echoes, neural echoes, paths that were once walked for safety but are now simply routine. Neurons that fire together, wire together. That is a phrase often used in science. It means that the more a pattern is repeated, emotion, thought, action, the stronger the connection becomes. Like two trees growing toward each other, their branches tangling. Trauma creates powerful links between stimulus and fear. A sound becomes danger, a glance becomes threat, a memory becomes a feeling in the gut. But new patterns can be made, new trees can grow, new echoes can rise. This happens not through forgetting, but through relearning. You teach the brain, again and again, what is safe. You give it gentle, repeated experiences that say, it's okay now. You breathe through the tension. You rest in the quiet. You speak truth aloud, and nothing bad happens. And with each of these small, sacred moments, your neurons begin to listen. They change slowly, but they change. Even tonight, as you rest and drift, your brain is not static. It is pruning old branches, strengthening new ones, deciding gently what to carry forward. The memory may remain, but its grip can loosen. It can become one tree in the forest, no longer the whole forest itself. So let us lie here together, in the dark and safe stillness. Let the ground beneath your body feel steady. Let the air on your skin be soft. If a whisper arises, a feeling, an old ache, greet it without fear. Let it speak and let it pass. You are listening now, and that is enough. In the next chapter, we will walk a little further. We will explore how those protective paths were formed, how your brain learned what it did to keep you safe. The question is not whether those paths were right or wrong. The question is, are there others you might walk now? Chapter 3, Rewiring the Hurt. Some paths in your mind were carved by pain, not choice. They were built quickly, out of fear, out of need, but you are not trapped on those trails forever. Even hurt can be unlearned, even fear can be gently retraced. There are places in your mind that you rarely visit. Corners wrapped in quiet, rooms dimly lit by memory. These are the places where hurt once lived. Not loud, but lasting. Not sharp, but deep. You may not even remember the moment it formed, but your body does. Your breath knows. Your heartbeat shifts when you brush too close. Because pain teaches quickly, and it builds fast roads in your mind. Imagine again the forest behind your eyes. Imagine one of the trails not made by joy or wonder, but by fear. You didn't choose it. You followed it once in a moment of danger, and your brain remembered how fast it worked. A shortcut, paved in adrenaline, a reflex wired with urgency, a thought loop that ran not for beauty, but for safety. These are the paths pain leaves behind, automatic, efficient, convincing. They say, don't trust. They say, be small. They say, run, even if no one's chasing. And yet, those trails can be changed. Neuroplasticity does not forget what you've lived, but it doesn't insist on repeating it either. The neurons that fire in fear can quiet. The paths that echo panic can be softened. The branches that twisted inward can begin slowly to uncurl. Let's walk that trail now, the one shaped by an old hurt. You're not walking it to feel it again. You're walking it because the only way to change a path is to first see where it leads. Close your eyes and breathe. Feel your footsteps. Slow, steady, brave. This time you are not a child. You are not without voice. You carry gentleness like a lantern. The forest hums around you. You come to a bend in the path where once you turned away from a feeling, a truth, a cry. This time you stay. You do not rush. You do not panic. You listen. That old reflex may still whisper, leave, numb, hide. But your breath is louder. It says, be here, be kind, be still. This moment, right now, is a new trail being formed. Because every time you bring calm to an old wound, your neurons rewire. Your brain takes note. It says, ah, something new is happening here. And that is how healing begins. Not in one grand moment, but in these tiny turns, in the breath you didn't hold this time, in the thought you questioned instead of believing, in the softness you offered to your own ache. The brain learns by what repeats. So, repeat this. I am safe now. I can rest here. This feeling is not the enemy. It is the echo. Let that be your rhythm, your mantra, your neural melody. And slowly, the hurt becomes less of a wall and more of a doorway. What once felt like a dead end becomes a place of return, a path you can walk without fear. This is not denial. This is not forgetting. This is transformation. Through repetition. Through trust. Through breath. There are people who believe they are broken, that trauma is forever. But your forest tells a different story. It says, even fire does not end the forest, it renews it. Even wounds do not end the body, they call it to adapt. And your brain, your soft, brilliant brain, wants to heal. It is not against you, it is waiting for your permission to change. The hurt rewires slowly, but it does. And each night you lie down with your story, each time you listen without judgment, each time you feel without flinching, you shift. A neuron here, a circuit there. A thought that used to end in fear now curves toward calm. So rest here. Let your body soften. Let your mind float gently. The pain is not your identity. The path is not your prison. You are the walker. You are the listener. You are the one who rewires. And beyond this trail, quiet, glowing, there are other paths forming. One in particular waits with a shimmer, a trail that leads to something unfamiliar, something unlearned, a sense not of fear, but of safety, not of defense, but of trust. In the next chapter, we step toward that trust and explore how the body and brain begin to believe in safety again, not as a theory, but as a felt, living truth. Chapter 4. Learning to feel safe again. Safety is not the absence of danger, it is the presence of connection. Your nervous system is not broken, it's trying to protect you. But protection does not have to feel like armor. With time and trust, it can feel like home. You are not just a brain in a skull, you are a whole system. A body that listens, a heart that responds, a skin that remembers. And when something feels wrong, even before you think, your body knows. It tightens, it prepares, it protects. This is your nervous system, your oldest guardian. Long before language, long before logic, your body learned to survive by sensing safety and threat. It is fast, it is smart, and sometimes it does not know the danger is gone. That's the thing about trauma. It doesn't just leave marks in your mind, it echoes in your body. You flinch before the sound, you brace before the fall. You assume something bad is coming, even when nothing bad is there. But you are not broken. You are not weak. You are not too sensitive. You are wise. You are responsive. You are learning. And just as your brain can rewire, so too can your body relearn what safety feels like. Let's begin there, with a question your body has been asking for years. Am I safe now? Tonight, we answer not with words, but with sensation. Let your shoulders drop, just a little. Let your jaw soften, your breath slow. Feel the weight of the blanket, the rhythm of your breath, the stillness of this room. There is no need to run. There is no need to prepare. This is now, and in this now, you are safe. Even if a part of you says no, another part is beginning to believe. Because safety is not an idea, it is a feeling. And feelings are formed through experience, through repetition, through presence. When you feel seen, when you feel held, even by your own awareness, your nervous system shifts. The alarm bells grow quiet, the muscles release, the breath deepens. This is the parasympathetic response, your rest and digest system, your body's soft exhale. It is not weak, it is not lazy, it is where healing begins. Imagine now a small animal in the woods. It was chased once, it remembers, but slowly over time, it begins to graze again, to drink from the stream, to nest. This is not forgetting, this is trust returning. You are that animal, and you are also the forest. The body relearns safety through gentle repetition. It does not happen in one deep breath. It happens in 100 quiet moments like this one. You blink, you sigh, you don't react this time. You feel your feet. You let the warmth reach your fingertips. And slowly, your nervous system believes, I don't have to fight tonight. I don't have to flee. I can stay. This doesn't mean the danger never existed. It means the danger is not here. And that distinction between then and now is everything. Your brain is learning to mark time again. Your body is learning to belong to the present. This takes practice. It takes permission. It takes patience. Sometimes you will feel safe, and the next moment, you won't. That's okay. The path is not straight. It spirals. It returns. It weaves. Each loop is a lesson. Each return a reminder, you are not where you were. You are somewhere softer now. So tonight, let that softness grow. Let it spread like light behind your ribs, like warmth across your back. You are held, not by another, by your own nervous system, slowly remembering how to rest. Let the forest inside you feel this peace. Let each neuron mirror this breath. Let safety become your soil. And as it does, something new begins to grow. Not a reaction, but a response. Not fear, but curiosity. Not defense, but connection. In the next chapter, we follow that connection to the quiet messengers within your body who listen when you feel, who respond when you're calm, and who shape every emotion from the inside out. Chapter 5. The Chemistry of Calm. Calm is not a mood, it's a message. It is carried by molecules crafted in silence. Your body makes peace not just by thinking, but by mixing. Hormones, neurotransmitters, secret codes of rest and ease, a soft symphony playing within. Calm is not just a feeling. It is a physical event, a shift in chemistry, a quiet signal that spreads through you like warm water. You may think you feel calm, but long before your thoughts notice, your body has already begun the work. Tiny messengers, too small to see, move through your bloodstream, your spinal fluid, your brain. They carry comfort in chemical form. You've met some of them before, by name maybe. Serotonin, oxytocin, dopamine, endorphins. Each one a soft note in the melody of peace. Let's meet them again, not as science words, but as gentle characters in the inner orchestra playing you into rest. First comes serotonin. It flows like steady rain, balancing mood, steadying the mind. Serotonin is your body's quiet reassurance. Things are okay. You are safe enough to smile. It is born in the gut, mostly. Yes, there, among the folds of digestion, your belly brews comfort. This is why a deep breath in your stomach can do more than a dozen thoughts. It is not just psychological, it is chemical. Next comes oxytocin. You felt it when someone holds your hand, when a baby looks into your eyes, when trust replaces tension. Oxytocin is the hormone of bonding, not just romantic, but human. It says, you are not alone, you belong. And when it flows, your nervous system softens, your muscles relax, your heart finds rhythm again. Then there's dopamine, often misunderstood as just pleasure, but it's more precise than that. Dopamine is hope. It is motivation's spark, released when something feels worth it. When you look forward to rest, when you imagine healing, dopamine whispers, keep going, you're almost there. And finally, the endorphins, your body's natural pain soothers. When you laugh, when you move, when you exhale after a long cry, endorphins arrive like soft blankets, wrapping your nerves in quiet. This chemical quartet, serotonin, oxytocin, dopamine, endorphins, they are not loud. They do not arrive in chaos. They arrive when stillness is allowed. And you don't need to force them. You only need to invite them with breath, with kindness, with patience. Let's do that now. Take in air gently. Hold it for a moment. Exhale longer than you inhaled. Repeat. You have just signaled to your nervous system that it can begin releasing calm. Your heart rate slows. Your gut softens. Your brain prepares to shift from stress to rest. This is real. This is happening now. And what's more, your body remembers these pathways. Every time you return to calm, you strengthen the chemistry of peace. You build receptors. You create capacity. You don't just feel better. You become someone more capable of feeling good. This is neurochemistry. This is healing. This is you. And even when life is loud again, even when fear returns, this inner pharmacy remains. Available, responsive, loyal. You are not just shaped by stress. You are shaped by every moment of calm you allow. Let that truth sink in. Healing is not a miracle. It is a sequence, a recipe, a mix of molecules that you can nourish again and again. Now imagine all those messengers, drifting like light in water, not rushing, not pushing, just flowing. You are floating in that stream. Each breath stirs the mix. Each moment of rest is a drop in your beaker. Even sleep, especially sleep, is a great chemical restorer. It clears old stress. It bathes your brain in renewal. It resets your balance. So as you drift closer to sleep tonight, know that it's not a pause. It's a process. A chemical ceremony where your body writes new stories, rewrites old scripts, and rehearses calm. And somewhere inside that sleep, in your dreaming forest, other messengers begin to speak. Slower, stranger ones. Not about mood or bonding, but about memory, identity, and even who you might become next. Chapter 6. Memory in the Mist. Memories don't live in shelves. They float, ever shifting. They're not files, but echoes. And the way you remember changes what you remember. In the quiet of sleep, your mind sifts, softens, and selects what to keep. Memory is not a storage box. It's a mist, a dance of signals through your forest of neurons. And each time you recall a memory, you don't simply find it, you rewrite it. This is one of the quiet truths of the brain. You are not retrieving exact facts. You are rebuilding a moment layered with emotion, context, and what you believe right now. Memory is more art than archive, and the brushstrokes are made of light and chemistry. Close your eyes and imagine one. A childhood room, the smell of something cooking, the hum of a ceiling fan. You can feel it, can't you? But look closer. How much of it is detail and how much is feeling? Because memory lives in both, in the facts and the fog. Your brain stores fragments, sound, color, texture, emotion, scattered across regions. One part holds the image, another the fear, another the meaning. And when you remember, your brain lights up across all those areas, like a symphony reuniting. But the music always changes, just a little. And this is not failure, it's function, because the brain is not trying to preserve everything. It's trying to protect you, to prioritize, to make meaning. So each time you recall something, you reassemble it. And in the reassembly, your brain updates what matters. Sometimes that means a painful memory softens, not erased, but less sharp. Sometimes it means a joyful one deepens because you're finally ready to hold it fully. This is memory in motion, memory as mist. Let's go deeper now, into the part of your brain called the hippocampus. It curves like a seahorse, nestled near the center. It is your map maker, your archivist, your guide. And at night, when you sleep, especially in the slow waves of deep sleep, the hippocampus hums to life. It plays the day in soft echoes, sorting, selecting, strengthening. What did you learn today? What made you feel? What do you need to keep? Your brain decides in silence. Not everything stays. Some moments are gently let go. Others are stored more deeply. This is why sleep is not passive. It is memory's editor. Dreams may be strange, images that melt, stories that loop, but they are part of the process. Because when the world quiets, your brain is free to reweave the day into something lasting. And here's the wonder. Your emotional tone affects the weave. If you fall asleep afraid, your memories cling tighter to fear. If you fall asleep in calm, your memories settle into warmth. So this moment, this breath, this peace, they are shaping not only how you feel, but how you'll remember. Let's breathe into that now. Inhale gently. Exhale slowly. Picture your memories as clouds, drifting, shifting, not lost, but floating toward meaning. You do not have to cling. You do not have to force recall. Your brain knows what to keep. It is wiser than you know. And some memories, even painful ones, become softer over time, not because they're false, but because you've grown. You now hold them with more space, more kindness, more distance. That too is neuroplasticity. That too is healing. You don't erase the past. You change your relationship with it, and in doing so, you become something new. So tonight, as your thoughts slow, as your body sinks into stillness, know this. Memory is not about perfect recall. It is about remembering who you are and who you are becoming. And somewhere, deeper in your brain, a new memory is already forming, not just of this story, but of this feeling, of being safe, of being calm, of trusting the mist. And just beyond that mist, something waits. Not a memory, but a mystery. A question your brain quietly carries. Who am I, really? And in the next chapter, we drift toward that question, toward the sense of self, not fixed, but always unfolding. Chapter 7. The Self That Shifts. You are not one thing. You are a tide, a flicker, a changing pattern. The you that speaks, sleeps, laughs, and dreams evolves each day. Neurons rewire, memories update. Even identity, soft and shimmering, can shift with time, with care, with rest. Who are you, really? It's a question that sounds simple, but when you sit with it, it bends. Because the you of this moment is not the same as the you of last year or even last week. You are not static. You are shaped, reshaped, shifted. Your brain is not a stone statue. It is a riverbed, and identity flows through it, sometimes fast, sometimes still, but always changing. And yet, you feel like someone, don't you? You wake up in your body, you feel the continuity, the sense of self. But that's self. What is it? It is not a single spot in the brain. There is no self-center. Instead, it is a pattern, woven from memory, emotion, story, sensation. A network of reflections that your brain keeps reassembling, like a dream remembered in reverse. Scientists call this the narrative self, the story you tell about who you are. And like all stories, even your brain's default mode network, the part active when your mind drifts inward, is busy maintaining your sense of self. It asks, what do I believe? What do I expect? What matters to me? And depending on how you live, how you reflect, how you rest, the answers can change. Think of yourself as a constellation. The stars are experiences, but the lines that connect them, those are yours to draw, and they can be redrawn. Neuroplasticity doesn't just change skills, it changes self-perception. You can become someone who trusts, someone who rests, someone who speaks, someone who listens. Not by pretending, but by practicing. This is the quiet miracle of your brain. It mirrors what you repeat. Say often enough, I am calm. And your brain rewires to believe it. Say gently enough, I am safe, and new neural paths form to support it. This isn't illusion. This is biology. This is how identity grows. Imagine now your inner self as a pool of still water. Drop a thought in, I am healing. Watch the ripples spread, to memory, to emotion, to action. Each ripple changes the shape of the self you carry into tomorrow. And even sleep shapes identity. In dreaming, your brain experiments, it replays roles, it imagines change, it releases old stories to make room for new ones. You wake up slightly different. You do not notice, but over time, you grow. The self is not a fortress. It is a garden.
Some parts bloom,
Some are pruned, some are replanted, and the more compassion you offer to the self you're becoming, the easier it grows. You don't need to know exactly who you are, you only need to notice who you're becoming. Tonight, let that become your lullaby. Not a label, not a verdict, just a process. Gentle, alive, becoming. You are a pattern in motion, and patterns can shift. Let go of the pressure to be certain. Let go of the weight of who you were. Breathe into the wonder of being someone new each day. Yourself is not a destination, it is a landscape, one that keeps changing as you rest, reflect, and grow. And somewhere in that shifting, a question waits, not about the self you carry, but about the others you connect with. Because identity doesn't end at your edges. It is shaped by every voice you trust, every presence you feel. And in the next chapter, we explore just that, how relationships reshape the brain and how connection carves new paths in your neural forest. Chapter 8, Wired for Connection. You are not an island. You are never meant to heal alone. Every touch, every gaze, every kind voice leaves a mark. Your brain is a social organ, always listening for belonging. Even in silence, connection reshapes you. You are not just one mind. You are a mind that was made in relation to others. From the first breath, from the warmth of being held, your nervous system has been listening, not just to sounds and sights, but to people, to presence, to tone, to love, or the absence of it. Your brain is not built alone. It is sculpted in relationship. Even the way your neurons fire, their timing, their strength, their pattern, can be shaped by the rhythm of a parent's voice, by the stillness of a trusted hand. This is not weakness, this is design. You are wired for connection, and connection doesn't just feel good, it changes the brain. It builds emotional circuitry, it regulates stress, it anchors memory, it softens fear. Let's begin here with something called co-regulation. You may not have heard the term, but you felt it. It's the calm you feel when someone sits beside you without judgment. It's the ease that returns when a friend says, "You're not alone." It's your nervous system syncing with another's. A quiet, physiological duet. When someone breathes calmly beside you, your body often mirrors them. When someone smiles gently, your facial muscles ease without you knowing. This is more than mimicry. This is survival. This is healing. Because when your body senses that another is safe, you begin to believe it might be safe too. Your brain listens to those signals. It adjusts. It recalibrates. Oxytocin rises. Heart rate slows. The forest inside begins to open. You are not imagining it. Connection is chemical. It flows through hormones, through neural pathways, through skin and silence alike. Think back to a time you felt truly seen, not just noticed, but known. Maybe a friend looked into your eyes and didn't flinch. Maybe someone listened without needing to fix. In that moment, your nervous system breathed. That breath rewired something, even if you didn't feel it then, because even brief, kind moments can become anchors. We call these earned experiences, small connections that override old patterns. They tell the brain, not everyone leaves, not every moment hurts. Something else is possible. And over time, those moments accumulate. Like water carving stone, connection wears a new shape into the story you carry. You become someone who can trust, who can soften, who can stay. Even loneliness is not just an emotion. It is a physiological state. The brain interprets social disconnection as danger. It raises cortisol. It prepares for harm. But connection reverses that pattern. It signals, you belong. You are seen. You don't have to do this alone. Let that sink in. Because even now, as you lie here listening, you are connecting. Not to a face or a voice alone, but to the idea that someone else knows what it feels like to carry the weight you carry. And that idea, that imagined connection, the brain responds to it too. The mind cannot always tell the difference between real presence and deeply felt presence. So even if no one is with you tonight, if this voice is the only one you hear, your nervous system still listens, still softens, still begins to believe. Connection is not only about company, it is about attunement, and you can practice it with others and with yourself. You can place a hand on your chest, breathe gently, and say to your own system, "I'm here. I hear you. You're not alone anymore." That is connection too.
You are both the one reaching
And the one being reached. You are your own co-regulator, your own anchor, and as this knowing deepens, as connection becomes familiar, something unexpected begins to shift, not just how you relate to people, but how you relate to the world, because the connected brain is not just calmer, it is more creative, more compassionate, more open to wonder. In the next chapter, we drift toward that wonder, to how the brain dreams, imagines, and turns silence into possibility, to how the sleeping mind becomes a place of symbols, stories, and subconscious renewal. Chapter 9. Dreams are real. When your eyes close, your brain begins to dream. But dreams are not illusions, they are inner laboratories. Symbols, memories, and emotions merge, reshape, and rehearse. In the quiet theater of night, your brain writes new scripts of self. Your body sinks, your breath slows, and somewhere behind your closed eyelids, the world begins to shift. This is not sleep's silence, this is sleep's story. Dreams begin. You might think dreams are nonsense, a swirl of memory and imagination, images that rise and melt without order. But your dreaming brain is not chaotic. It is creative, curious, alive. Dreams are real, not in the way you might first believe, but in the way your brain needs them to be. Because when you dream, your mind rehearses life. It sorts through emotion, stitches together meaning, tests ideas you never dared explore in the daylight. This is more than fantasy. It's biology. When you enter the stage of sleep called REM, rapid eye movement, your brain lights up like it's awake. But you are still, your muscles quiet, your eyes flicker beneath closed lids, and inside, a world begins to form. Your brain pulls threads from memory, from feeling, from the day's unnoticed details. It doesn't replay them exactly, it transforms them. The face of a stranger merges with a childhood home. An old fear wears a new costume. A long-lost voice echoes in a forest of your own making. This is the dreaming brain playing with possibility. It's your limbic system, your emotional core, that speaks most loudly in dreams. And your prefrontal cortex, the part that judges and edits, rests. So the dream speaks freely, symbolically, honestly. You are not just watching your dream, you are your dream. Every image, every scene, a part of you exploring itself. Why does the brain do this? Because dreams help you process. They let your mind move through fear without real threat. They let you imagine success without risk. They let you grieve, resolve, release. Dreams even play a role in neuroplasticity. They strengthen emotional learning. They reinforce memory through story, not repetition. And sometimes they heal. Think of a nightmare you've had, one that returned again and again. Each time, slightly different. Each time, your brain adjusting the narrative, rehearsing a new ending, trying to resolve something left open. This is your brain's quiet therapy, not always kind, but always working toward wholeness. Even dreams you forget leave traces. like footprints in soft sand. They shape your waking mood, your clarity, your emotional readiness, so trust them, even the strange ones, even the ones that vanish with morning light. They are part of the forest, and just as you can shape your waking mind, you can tend to your dreaming one. Sleep in rhythm, sleep in stillness, sleep with intention. Let your final thoughts be gentle, because they may become your dream's opening scene. And if you wake in the middle of the night, don't panic. Close your eyes again and step back into the mist. Tell your brain, I'm still listening. I trust what you're trying to show me. And as you drift, imagine a theater with no audience. Only your mind on the stage. Soft lights. Open curtains. No judgment. Only exploration. This is where your subconscious stretches. This is where emotion becomes image, and image becomes insight. And as dreams fade, they leave behind a deeper silence, not empty, but integrated. You wake not fully remembering, but feeling changed, and sometimes, in the quiet hours after, a question rises. What else does the sleeping brain do? What mysteries unfold when we're no longer watching? Because beneath even the dreaming mind, another world is stirring, a place where the body and brain repair, where molecules move in secret. And in the next chapter, we drift into that mystery, into the nighttime healing that happens beneath thought and beyond dream. Chapter 10. Healing in the Dark. While you sleep, your brain is not idle. It restores, rewires, and releases. Neurons whisper, chemicals shift, wounds unseen begin to mend. This is the unseen repair of night, slow, sacred, essential. Healing, not as effort, but as surrender. Sleep is not escape, it is return. Not to the past, but to balance. Each night, as your eyes close, a quiet revolution begins inside your skull, not with noise, but with release. Your brain, freed from the demands of the waking world, turns inward, to clean, to clear, to heal. This is not metaphor, it is biology. In the deep folds of your resting brain, fluid begins to flow, not slowly, but rhythmically, like waves washing the shore. It's called the glymphatic system, a hidden cleansing network. By day, it sleeps, but by night, it awakens. And it does something extraordinary. It rinses your brain, literally. It sweeps away waste proteins, clears byproducts of stress and strain, and makes space for thought to flow fresh again. This isn't just housekeeping, it's protection from illness, from fog, from slow, silent decay. And all you have to do is rest. Think of it like night gardeners tending to the forest in your head, pulling weeds, rebalancing the soil, making room for new growth. You don't feel them, but they are there. While you sleep, your immune system resets, inflammation lowers, wounds begin to stitch themselves inside and out. Your heartbeat slows, your temperature drops, muscles release their grip, and the brain, no longer steering the world, begins to repair the driver. This is healing without effort. Healing by surrender. It is tempting to believe healing must be earned, that you must struggle for it, fight for it, prove you're worthy. But your body, your brain, they do not wait for permission. They begin healing the moment you let go, and the most powerful kind of letting go happens in sleep. Even your memories, the ones that sting, the ones that feel too heavy, are softened in the dark. Your brain doesn't just store them, it edits them, sorts through emotional weight, decides what matters, what can be reshaped, what can be let go. This is the miracle of sleep-dependent emotional processing. You don't just rest, you recover, not just from exhaustion, but from heartbreak, from fear, from shame. It takes time, but it begins again and again, each time you surrender to the dark. And still deeper, beneath even dreaming, are the slow waves of deepest sleep, a frequency so low it feels like the earth breathing.
In that place,
Your brain recalibrates its networks. It strengthens essential pathways. It prunes the ones unused. It rebalances your sense of self, not with thought, but with rhythm, with breath, with darkness. This is not just recovery, this is wisdom. The body knows how to heal. The brain knows how to let go. You only need to allow it. And even if sleep does not come easily, if your mind resists, if your body holds old fear, know this: the intent to rest is already a signal. A soft green light to the parts of you waiting for peace. Tonight, let this be your medicine. Let your body lie heavy. Let your thoughts drift like mist. Let the silence speak. Your brain does not need fixing. It needs space, gentle space, where no demands are made, where no judgment enters, only breath and time and dark. Because in the dark, you are not alone. You are surrounded by a system that loves order, that seeks balance, that longs to return you to ease. Let it. And as your mind floats deeper into this ocean of night, you may begin to sense a question, not urgent, but gentle. If healing can happen in darkness, then what might light bring? And in the next chapter, we turn slowly toward morning, toward waking, toward the soft light that enters after deep repair. Chapter 11. The Morning Mind. After the hush of sleep, your mind opens again to light, but it is not the same mind. It is softened, cleared, rewired. Morning is not just waking, it is re-entry, and the way you begin can shape the self you carry forward. Somewhere in the dark, your breath begins to change.
not rushed, not forced, just different.
A subtle stirring, a shift in rhythm. The body knows the night is ending, and slowly, quietly, your mind begins to rise. But this is not a return to noise, not yet. This is emergence. The dawn of the morning mind. Sleep has not erased you. It has softened you. Like clay warmed in the hands, you are more open now. Memories that felt sharp now seem distant. Thoughts that once echoed loudly now float like feathers. This is a sacred moment, the in-between, not quite asleep, not yet fully awake. Here, the brain is most receptive. Not to instruction, but to intention. So pause. Notice the space before thought, before urgency, before the old loops resume. This is your window, a tender, gentle opening where you can choose how to begin. Because the brain that wakes is not the brain that fell asleep. It is rewired, refreshed, ready. The hippocampus, your memory's librarian, has done its filing. The prefrontal cortex, your wise decision-maker, is ready to lead again. The amygdala, your fear signal, has calmed, if sleep was deep and kind. And all across your neural forest, quiet changes hum beneath the surface. You are new, not drastically, but subtly. Repeat it enough. That's how transformation happens. Morning, then, is not just waking, it is shaping. What you do in the first moments leaves fingerprints on the entire day, and it begins with noticing. Notice your breath, the weight of your body, the feel of the sheets, the hum of light behind your closed eyes. You do not have to leap into motion. Instead, invite your mind to stretch, like limbs slowly waking after sleep. Maybe one thought rises, I am here, or this is new, or simply, thank you. Whatever it is, Let it be gentle, because your brain listens. And the thoughts you choose now will echo. In brain science, this is called priming. Your first perceptions influence how your neurons interpret the rest of the day. See the morning as threat, and your stress pathways light up. See it as opportunity, and the brain opens its lens. This is not illusion, this is biology, and it begins in the first 5 minutes after waking. So let them be slow, let them be soft. Drink water, let in light, real or imagined. Stretch your spine, speak kindly to yourself. These small rituals are not tasks, they are tuning forks. They tell your system, this day is safe, this body is home, this mind can grow. And if the day ahead feels heavy, if the past comes rushing back, remember, you do not have to carry it all at once. You can return to breath. You can return to this. Because you carry within you not just the weight of experience, but the capacity to reshape it. You've seen now how the brain learns, how it forgets, how it heals, how it connects, and each morning you are given the chance to begin again. The trails in your forest are not fixed. The story you tell can change. Let this be your morning mantra. I am soft, I am spacious, I am still becoming. Say it aloud, or whisper it to your breath. Your brain will remember. And as you rise, know this. You do not rise alone. Your neurons rise with you. Your past selves rise with you. Your future self waits for you, not far away, but just ahead, on the next trail you choose to walk. In the next and final chapter, we step back and see the whole forest, the changes you've made, the truths you've reclaimed, and the quiet, powerful potential that lives in the brain that keeps becoming. Chapter 12. The Brain That Becomes. You are not finished. You are a river, a forest, a sky still shifting. Your brain holds not only memories, but the power to begin again. What you practice, you become. And in every gentle thought, you are becoming something beautiful. You've walked through the forest. You felt the rain of memory, the shimmer of dreams, the hush of healing. Now, stand still for a moment. Breathe. Look around. Not with your eyes, but with your quiet awareness. That place inside you that knows something has changed. This is not the end. This is a widening. The path continues, and it always will, because your brain is still becoming. Not in spite of your past, but through it. Not by forgetting, but by transforming. You are not the story that happened to you. You are the storyteller, the weaver, the one who decides what shape the forest will take from here. And your brain listens to story. Each time you speak gently to yourself, you lay down new patterns. Each time you choose rest over panic, compassion over critique, your neurons shift. Neuroplasticity is not about erasing, it's about redirecting, not forcefully, but persistently, lovingly. Like water wearing down stone, softness changes even what feels unchangeable. And the truth is, you don't need to become someone else. You're not broken clay. You are growing roots. You are a system of memories, yes, but also a system of possibilities. Every moment you pause, every moment you choose kindness over control, you teach your brain safety. You teach it spaciousness. You teach it trust. And what you teach, you become. It will take time. It always does. But you have that time, because the brain does not close at 20 or 40 or 70. It keeps rewiring as long as you keep living. New dendrites, new links, new ways of responding to the world within and the world beyond. The forest, it turns out, never stops growing. Yes, storms will come. Old paths may call you back. Fear may whisper the same stories again. But now you know they are just stories. You can choose new ones. Let that be your power. Let that be your peace. You are not behind, you are exactly where a changing brain begins, right here, in stillness, in willingness. So pause now and thank yourself. Not for being perfect, but for being present. Not for knowing, but for listening. Not for arriving, but for continuing. Let your breath be a song of becoming, because even now, this very second, your forest listens. It lights up in response to this attention. It prepares gently for the next small shift. That shift doesn't have to be loud. Maybe it's a new way of breathing, a new thought when the old one comes, a moment of quiet instead of reactivity. These are the building blocks of change, tiny, intentional, real. The brain becomes what it repeats. So let what you repeat be gentle, let it be honest, let it be yours. You've journeyed deep now, into neurons, into dreams, into healing, into light. And maybe you still carry questions. That's okay. The brain that heals doesn't seek certainty, it seeks curiosity. It wonders, what else is possible? What might I feel next time if I let myself soften again? That wondering is where growth begins. So, go forward, not with pressure, but with patience. Speak to yourself as you would to a tree, a child, a sleeping animal. Not with force, with quiet encouragement. The brain is listening. It always has been. And now, you know how to speak its language. Rest when you need. Grow when you're ready. Return to the forest whenever you forget. It will always be there, still glowing, still reaching, still becoming, just like you. And so, our time in this quiet forest draws to a close. If even a single thought took root, or one small feeling found its name, then this journey was worth it. This wasn't just a story, it was a mirror held gently to your inner world. I'm Soft Light Theory, and this was the forest in your head. Until we meet again, take care, and remember, don't forget to listen to yourself.